Hi there, welcome to Sketch Saturday. I'm Sarah Joy, and this is my weekly journal where I draw a few things that happened throughout the week together in one composition. This video is for week 24 of 2024, which was June 9 through the 15th. And for the first time, I gathered up all the things I worked on or made during the week and had them in front of me while I was drawing. Out of sight, out of mind is definitely something that affects me, so it gave me a nice little boost of dopamine to see everything I did. 10 out of 10, I highly recommend making a pile of a bunch of things you've made and feeling proud about it. The main part for this week's drawing is based on a painting I did this week. I decided to paint one of my bedroom windows after browsing through wikiart.org. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I think it's a pretty cool resource. I signed up for an account this week and got really inspired looking through different artists' work. You can browse by art movements, genres, and other groupings, and you can favorite paintings so you can easily find them again. I was inspired to paint my window after seeing a bunch of colorful window paintings by Matisse, especially the ones where the walls were all these bright different colors. The first thing I'm adding to the window ledge there is a can of polar orange vanilla seltzer and some unintentionally small roses. This is in reference to a picnic I went to at a rose garden for the final class of the art book portfolio program I went through. We ate snacks, talked about our final projects, and our plans for the summer. My final project was a small booklet titled Make Good, which is the next thing I drew. It was a mix of Rizzo printed photos and letterpress text on newsprint. I plan to make a flip-through video of it, hopefully to be released next week, so you'll hear more about it then. Next is another painting project. If you've watched my art exercises video, you might recognize this study of a painting by Matisse, but at this point it wasn't finished. I come back to it in the next week to finish it. What you might not have been able to tell in that video though is that I painted it in a book. The idea of making painted books is really what got me to start painting a few months ago. I want to combine the feelings of wonder and inspiration of looking at a painting with the cozy and intimate feeling of reading a book. At first, I bought a couple of used children's books from the Goodwill bins and tried prepping them with gesso, but that wasn't really working out how I'd hoped. So then I painted craft paper, folded it up accordion style, and bound it into books. That worked out fine, but it was quite a bit of work. And then I found these blank books at a craft store. So this is my initial test of seeing how well it handles being filled with paintings. And the idea for this book is to be studies of Matisse paintings, who, if you hadn't guessed, is one of my favorite painters. Next to the book on the ledge, I'm drawing a prototype of a planner that I made. So far, I've only posted art-related videos to this channel, but my mind is an idea machine, and I have so many projects I want to bring to life, like journals and planners and posters and apps. Anyways, when it comes to productivity tools, I found that paper works best for me. But I haven't been able to stick to a planner since I was in school. So for the past decade or so, I've just used plain notebooks and kept to-do lists. I've also used a few apps, but I always come back to paper. And a couple weeks ago, I put together a prototype of this idea I had for a short-term planner. And while using it, I realized I wanted more space. So this week, I made another one that was a little bigger and had a different layout, and oh my god, I am in love. I call this the Beautifully Blank Planner. It only goes for 6 weeks because that's how long I think I can stick to enthusiastically using it, and I plan on turning it into a product to sell, but not till later this year. That way I can test using it out for a couple of 6-week cycles and see if it's really as wonderful as my brain thinks it is right now. Finally, the last thing I added to this sketch was a letterpress print I made for art book. It's printed on clear acetate paper, so when it's folded, you can see both phrases with one being backwards. It reads, Unsa imong gusto, ayaw kalimot, which is a Filipino dialect called Bisaya, and it means, what do you want? Don't forget. I made it earlier this year, but included it for this week because I scanned it so I could submit it to a local zine called Significant Beings. It's a zine for and by Asians who live in the Portland area. I'll link to info about it in the description below. I believe they're still taking submissions until July 6th. And that completes my sketch recap for week 24. A couple of honorable mentions of things that didn't make it into the drawing. I celebrated my anniversary with my husband, and we had some delicious seafood and honey cake. And this week was also the final class of the Intro to Landscape Painting class I took. We also had a potluck and spent the last class doing 25-stroke paintings. If you're still here, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below with the artist whose work you'd love to fill a book with, and I hope you get to enjoy a picnic in the park this summer.